Hello, guys and gals, and welcome to another episode of Unique Items. Today we're going to be looking at another unique item known as Black River. Black River is a one-handed, unique Necromancer scythe that you can find that has a very interesting effect when it comes to corpse explosion. Now, I've also dragged out another unique item known as Howl from Below because I've gotten a lot of questions as to whether this item works with this item, and of course we're going to test it here on stream. Black River is a interesting unique item that has a pretty nice intelligence roll between 74 to 95, and of course this can be upgraded. So if you find a relatively high level like like 819 or 820 or something like that, it's going to have better stats than this. And of course you can upgrade it 5 times, so you get some increase to that as well. It does have 27.8% damage to distant enemies, which is decent. It does roll as high as 35.3, and you get 46.5% damage to healthy enemies, which rolls as high as 52.5. Now, healthy enemies is definitely a lot better than injured enemies most of the time, because as long as you're one-shotting them, then it's just going to be a pretty nice damage bump. But once they've taken their first hit of damage, if they're not dead, then this gets lost. You also get 1 rank of Fueled by Death passive. So if we take a look at the Fueled by Death passive, this is the one that increases the damage of basically all damage after consuming corpses, which is kind of really nice. So you get an extra rank in the Fueled by Death passive, which gives you a little bit more damage output for spamming Corpse Explosion, or pretty much any of the consuming corpse abilities. And we also get the Corpse Explosion effect itself. Now, this is the meat and potatoes of the unique item, and basically what it does is it consumes up to 4 additional corpses, and it actually does vary. So if there's not 4 corpses on the ground, it'll consume 2, or it'll consume 3. And for every corpse that it consumes more than 1, it gets a larger radius. So you can see it says corpses around the initial corpse dealing 128%, which does roll as high as 130. Increased damage with a 24%, which goes as high as 25. Larger radius per additional corpse. So if we have 4 corpses, we get a huge additional radius, basically of 100% the original size, which makes for a very, very nice explosion, a very large explosion. This is useful if you happen to find yourself generating way too many corpses, because in general you're getting a lot of corpses. So actually, hold on, I might not be able to generate corpses without a secondary focus. Let me go ahead and generate the corpses with my boy here. And I'm going to show you how this ability works, which is actually pretty cool in my opinion. So we got an event here. That should do for testing. Oh wait, no, it's the event is going to be here, but there we go. Now the event spawned. That's okay. Let's go ahead and get our army running. Our army makes corpses too, which is helpful for the testing process. Alright, so let's go ahead and put the Black River back on. And what you'll notice is that when I use the Corpse Explosion in a place where there's a large number of corpses, ooh, the radius is huge, right? So we get a much larger radius, right? This is absolutely amazing because it means that you're going to hit so many more monsters with the ability, and it's just going to be like an insanely large Corpse Explosion. So if you are specifically a Corpse Explosion Necromancer, this is an absolutely amazing way to run Corpse Explosion because it gives you just a massive circle. Now, there are other items that enhance Corpse Explosion, like Howl from Below. Now, I was talking about this one, and let's talk about whether this one actually affects the Corpse Explosion as well. So we're going to throw this on, and we're going to use this next to a monster and see if the volatile dead still spawn. So let's get our corpses, and then we're going to go ahead and use one. And unfortunately, if they're not far away, so let's see there. So there we go. We still got the volatile dead, and it did seem to me like it was a larger explosion. So it looks like they do in fact work together. But here's the thing that's a little odd with the ability. So the Howl from Below doesn't actually trigger if there's a monster nearby. So if there's a monster inside the explosion, it doesn't work. So it has to be outside of the explosion area for the Howl from Below to trigger and send the skeleton to the monster. But because Black River is increasing the radius of Howl from Below by such a massive amount, they have to be further away from the corpses than you would think. Now, this is kind of neat, though, because if you have a relatively large number of corpses, you know, very distant from the targets, you will still get a very nice effect. And you notice there that it consumed all of the corpses, and it also made the skeleton. So it consumed 4 corpses, it made the skeleton ran, and then he had the full explosion radius. So you can, in fact, combine together the Black River and the Howl from Below items to get a stronger effect than you would otherwise normally. The only real question is do you need to? It's kind of up for debate, I feel like. You might not necessarily need to use Howl from Below if you are utilizing Black River, because the size of your corpse explosions are going to be so large that you're pretty much hitting like half the screen with one corpse explosion. But if you do find yourself in a situation where there's a lot of corpses all over the place, and the corpses all over the place, you know, are out of reach of the monster, then Howl from Below could be interesting to use in those situations. I feel like Howl from Below is one of those items that you could definitely have, like, just sitting in your inventory, and you could generally just, like, combine it with Black River, like, in an on-demand situation. Like, say you're doing a world boss, and she jumps away from, you know, where you're fighting, and there's a ton of corpses left on the ground over there where she was. You could utilize all those corpses by using Howl from Below to summon those corpses over to the boss, and get a little bit of extra damage. Another interesting thing is the secondary effect of corpse explosion. So let's talk about that real quick. So we're going to go to the blighted form, and we're going to pull up the blighted form of corpse explosion. I forgot to test that out as well. And that does work with Howl from Below as well, but I have not seen it with Black River yet, so we're definitely going to check that out with Black River. So let's get as many corpses as we can. And we're going to go ahead and pop our Black River. So that's with Black River. Let's try it without Black River. So it doesn't really look like the blighted circle is that much larger than the normal. It doesn't look like it's large at all, I'm going to be perfectly honest. So either it's bugged or it doesn't really seem to work with the... Oh no, I don't even have it on. Look at me being stupid. Let's go again. Let's try it one more time. I think I did switch it back and forth, so... Let me just double check. Just double check. It's not that hard to double check. Alright, so we definitely have more than 4 corpses on the ground right there. I see 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's do it right here. It didn't really consume those. Let me see if I can get a bigger pile of monsters, bigger pile of corpses. Let's let them group up right here. Let's let the skeletons really wail in there. Let's get them make on as many corpses as they possibly can. And then let's hit it. I'm going to say no. So with the blighted corpse explosion, it does not seem to work, unfortunately. So it doesn't look like Black River is really all that amazing in terms of damage output for the blighted corpse explosion radius. However, it does, still increase the damage of the corpse explosion. So maybe it's still increasing the damage of the blighted corpse explosion. So I'm not really sure about that one. But it looks like the corpse explosion from Black River, or the enhancement, definitely works a hell of a lot better with the regular corpse explosion than the blighted version. Also, it can, of course, be combined with the Howl from Below, which is definitely very nice. Now, the Black River does have some flavor text on it. It says, "The scrolls describe a river of tar that separated the living from the land of the dead. Any unfortunate soul who tried to cross would be dragged down into oblivion. Notes of the Scholar of Camion." Now, because this is a one-handed item, it does have a faster attack speed than, of course, the two-handed scythes and swords and things like that. And you could, of course, pair it up with either a focus or a really tanky shield. either way you wanted to go there. Now, I personally really like the shields for the Necromancer because they are just really tanky. Not only do they offer you block chance and block reduction, but they also offer you a lot of alternative stats and an additional gem slot, which you can put a gem in, which is an armor-based gem, so you get a little bit of extra damage reduction or a little bit of life or things like that, which is definitely very interesting. This one can be socketed one time. The two-handed is two, but you get at least one socket out of this. I've only found one of these so far out of all of the items that I've found, and not particularly easy to find. I've been playing the Necromancer for the entirety of launch, basically through, now. And I'm currently level 83, and I found a lot of unique items. And the Black River is definitely one that has not been common for me. I've found Penitent Greaves many times. I found the Greaves of the Empty Tomb many times. I found many versions of Howl from Below and Fists of Fate. I even found 2 Razor Plates and 9 Blood Artisan Curiouses, as well as 1 Frostburn Gauntlet, 2 Rings of Mandeln, 2 Death Speaker's Pendants, several Mother's Embraces, and 2 Bloodless Screams, but I have only found 1 Black River. So unfortunately, this one might be a little bit more on the rare side of the unique items. So if you do happen to find one of these, well, then you probably got pretty lucky, because I've been having trouble finding this particular item. Anyway, I think that's pretty much it when it comes to Black River. As always, I'd appreciate you guys and gals watching my videos, even when we're just yakking about a very special Necromancer scythe that makes things blow up even bigger than before. And as always, keep watching.